Okay, so we got that. Got the up. Alright. I think I'm ready. How does the leech of the group looks like? You don't. Can throw the entrance once you've explained that the entrance is there, I guess. I can just leave it as it is. I would say I will leave it as it is, like this. Also, I can just put, can just do it like this, so it looks like there's a little road leading towards that. I think that is that. Right? Alright, I think I'm ready. Wait, I don't need this. I don't need this. Yeah, there you go. Now I'm truly ready. Alright. I hope. Wow, I just lost 10 viewers because everyone is like, oh, but the game is working, so fuck this guy. Wait, I can't alt tab because my keyboard is here. There you go. That worked. Alright, perfect. So I see this now. Alright. Okay, let's go. So, we got Dhuum. Damn, okay. You're finally doing this. I told you I'm gonna do this after I finish my Wing 5, but whatever. Let's do it anyway. So, we start at the entrance, right? We walk in, and Desmina is there. So we're gonna engage the fight with her there. So the goal of the fight is to let Reapers, which are marked here with blue, cast their spell. Unfortunately, they cast the spell faster when the group is doing higher damage. Meaning that when you reach 10%, they finish casting whatever the time you have on the timer. So that is that. This is not Dhuum CM though, as I said multiple times. I'm not gonna explain it because it's the same thing, but there's something walking. Like, this is pointless to explain. Right. So the goal is to let, well, to imprison Dhuum. Like, he is sitting here on his throne, and this is indicated to like where he's watching, like which way he's watching. Alright, so let's go. So this is not CM, so we're not gonna start in the middle, but usually people start on this side roughly. Alright, everyone but the kiter. The kiter will wait for the messengers to spawn, which are gonna be displayed like this. These are the messengers. It's getting fucking darker here. Shit. Okay. This should kind of help. Oh my god, it's so annoying for my eyes, but whatever. I have to endure this. Alright. So, the goal is, there are several mechanics, but the most important, like the hardest job of them all is by far the kiting. So, the kiter, it only acts, or it's only there for the pre-event, but it is there nonetheless. So the kiter, okay, sorry, that was a hair. There still is. There you go. Okay, fucking hell. So the kiter is going to aggro Dhuum's messengers, which are these things. So you aggro them by auto attacking them. As soon as you auto attack them, you become fixated toward, well, he's gonna become fixated towards you. So the job of the kiter is to prevent everyone else from getting it. So he's gonna attack the messenger fast enough. So at the beginning, there are gonna be 2 enforcers spawning on each side. Groups usually go to the left side from the entrance, which is gonna be this side. So these blue things are not here, but I don't, yeah, I can't, oh, there you go. There you go. Okay. Fuck! Ugh. Whatever. 4. There you go. That is done. And that That's... There we go. Okay, whatever. Just to indicate, they're not spawned there yet. They're not there from the beginning. They're gonna spawn continuously as the pre-event goes on. The pre-event takes 2 minutes. It does not matter if you're doing higher DPS or something. The pre-event always takes 2 minutes. So at the beginning, usually the groups goes to where the first enforcer is going to spawn. So they're gonna spawn in a similar fashion on the opposite side as well. So there's gonna be enforcer and the messenger. The thing is, they can swap places, so they can spawn like this or the previous state, so they can spawn like that. So usually the groups starts on this side. It does not matter who's tanking or doing damage or stuff like that. They all start like that, and the fighting starts. So the kiter usually will take the messenger from this side first, the side where everyone is in. As soon as he's the messenger is fixated on the kiter has to well, he's gonna be fixated for 15 seconds. If he's gonna survive those 15 seconds, or well, not specifically survive, but the Dhuum messenger will try to walk to him. It has like a small AoE which pulses damage. It really hurts. So the goal is try not to stand in the AoE, so he's always trying to outrun it roughly around the middle parts. And that's usually the kiter's job. I will not explain kiter more because I do not have enough props. But until like the very important parts where there's going to be a soul rip, which I'm going to explain later, it's pointless to explain it anyway. So when the first 2 enforcers are dead on each side, besides these NPCs to spawn there, like enforcers and messengers, there's always going to be a small spiders called deathlings. Those spiders will try to attack the nearest Reaper. Yeah, fuck, the nearest Reaper. So which is indicated like with these blues. Oh, this one is misplaced. Oops. So first, this one is going to spawn. This one is also mostly known as Arrow, because when you enter, this is the first one which spawns. So when you use your keyboard and you do the Alt 1 and Alt 2, Alt 3, Alt 4 and stuff like that. Oh shoot. It's gonna become that this is always going to be arrow, this is gonna be circle, this is gonna be heart, you know, that square, star, swirl and karma sign. So when this guy spawns, all the deathlings want to attack it now. When this guy spawns, there's always an enforcer spawning as well right next to it. So both groups, besides the kiter is trying to kite all the messages out. They're trying to destroy the enforcer and move on to the next spawning position, which is going to be, well, as it is, clockwise. So the next guy will spawn, and with that a new enforcer. So again, you go there and it dies, hopefully. So then you're gonna skip this one. He's gonna spawn, but you're gonna skip this one, and they're gonna move to this corner where the next one will spawn. When you're moving to this corner, or when you reach the corner, depends how fast you were. Sorry. One of you will get a bomb. I'll showcase the bomb as one being like the yellow. Let's say that is one DPS player. One DPS player will get the bomb. Let me just put this like... oh yeah, green. Let me put a green on top of him. So when he has the bomb, he has to go furthest away from the group and then either let it expire so it explodes. Can you start over? I just got here. No, watch the YouTube video, which is because it's gonna go into YouTube video. So when he gets the bomb, he's gonna walk back, preferably where everyone was before. So it's gonna be this one, and essentially he's gonna be happy, right? Because the bomb is gonna explode. Hopefully no one will die. The closest you are to the bomb, it hurts more. And then you can come back, someone else will get the bomb, and so on and so on. This goes on forever. There's going to be enforcers spawning here, spawning on this side as well, and that's the last one, hopefully. And now I need to talk about the green mechanic. So the reason we are kind of protecting those Reapers is because at some point Dhuum will Dhuum wants to kill them because they're helping you, and well, he does not want to be locked in an endless cage again. So he's gonna come and he's gonna create a portal to the underworld, and he wants to grab the soul of the Reaper away. So that's represented by this green, because it's a green AoE which is going to be around the Reaper. And the green AoE, yeah, basically, yeah, it fits well. So the green AoE will spawn. So when it spawns, one player has to go to the green. If one of the Reapers dies, the entire group wipes. No, like, second chances. The entirety of the group wipes. So it's very important to keep going to that green. Otherwise, the group dies. So it's usually done, the first green is kind of usually done by a warrior, or the best thing is to do that the first green is done by a warrior, and there are 3 more greens, because as soon as you get up, or as soon as you prevent the Reaper from dying, because instead of the Reaper dying or getting his soul poured out, it's gonna be you. So let's say it's one of the DPS players. So it's me. So you just killed, well, you just came to kill the enforcer, which is here. There's tank. So you're trying to kill the enforcer, and suddenly the green spawns, which is always this one first. So you're killing the enforcer in this kind of corner. And there you go, that worked. And one of the DPS ones, or let's say it's gonna be warrior in our case because it's the best thing to go there, is gonna step into the green. When he steps into the green, instead of the Reaper getting his soul out, it's gonna be the person. So this person will get his soul being ripped out. The green disappears, the Reaper will survive. So when his soul is ripped out, he's gonna travel above. And above the thing, it's this thing, similarly. Well, kinda looks weird, but... So just ignore that it's a crossroad, it does not matter. But when you go above, you get a beam of light in the middle, which souls are going to. So these red orbs or red things here are an indication of like souls. So when you go, or when they go closer to the middle, they will disappear in the middle, and that's it. There are going to be more souls coming each way, so it's always a time. So now, let's say that this part of the arena is this part of the arena on, like, up. So if I would put it, like, above it... Sorry. Oh, shit. So it would look something like this, right? Oh, fucking hell. This is hard. So, the goal for the guy who's up there, to survive... he needs to gather 5 of these souls to basically reconnect to his body. So he needs to gather 5 of these orbs. They're going to be like pinkish orbs. So let's say he starts here. Shit, the tank died. So the thing is, there's always going to be one bigger orb as well. So when there's the bigger orb, that big orb is an enforcer. If this big orb will come to the middle, there's going to be an extra enforcer spawning. The goal is to prevent this from happening. So the guy usually glides to the first orb, because it counts as an orb. He picks up that orb, so he has 1. But now needs 4 more souls. So he has to go elsewhere to pick up the rest of the souls. The reason why I have this big thing in the middle is that you should never go to the middle. As soon as you go to the middle, you instantly die. Nothing else, you just instantly die. You also are on a timer. You have 15 seconds since you will get up to gather 5 orbs, otherwise you will die. So you go for the biggest one the first. That's usually how it's done. But sometimes there are some small orbs before it. Let's say like this. It's walking and is going to the middle. So before you pick up the big one, you can start picking up the small ones first. So you pick up these two, and then this one is slightly closer, so you go back and you pick that one up. So now you need two more, so you go this way, and there's gonna be like one more here. So you're gonna pick up these two, and that's 5 orbs, and you will get teleported down where you were before. By the time, hopefully, you gather all the souls, all the players will be roughly here, trying, well, either killing this or this is going to be dead. Another enforcer here is going to be dead. And that moves on and moves on. The goal is, if you do not get the highest or the biggest one, where's the... there it is. If you do not get the biggest one, yeah, that kind of works. Never mind, it does not. Whatever. If you do not get the big one, and it goes to the middle, everything will start to feel like more rushed. All the enforcers which were spawning normally kind of slowly, like the orb was really like slow until it reaches the position where it spawned. It's suddenly gonna become much faster. So that's one of the indications to tell, oh, someone missed a big orb. Alright. So the reason why I had like 2 sized, because this is 3 sized orb and this is 2 sized. There are these 2 sized orbs. Like they're basically medium orbs. The one you always need to pick up is always on the left side where you go up. So if I say I will go up from this position, so I would appear roughly around in this corner. So on the left side it will become somewhere here, so you will go and grab that one. So on and so on. As soon as you get your soul ripped out, you're gonna have a debuff on. That debuff prevents you from, well, essentially going another green. So you can't have one guy going all greens, but the debuff is gonna disappear after the 3rd one, meaning that you can take this one. So if you take arrow, which is this one, you can also take, well, not also, but you will have to take the square here. Then again, you're gonna do after the 3. So you're not gonna do this one, which is star. You're not gonna do the swirl, but you're gonna do the karma. Then you're not gonna do the arrow. You're not gonna do the circle, but you're going to do the heart. So on and so on. It rotates. So it's very important to keep them all alive at that point. So now, since green mechanic is done, we can start explaining the boss fight itself. So hopefully, let's presume you're gathering all the orbs correctly, so we don't need this anymore. Well, we kind of need at the end especially, but it's alright. Let's presume that all the greens are going well, and the kiter is doing his job. Let's just put a kiter here with one messenger just out of fun. And you finish the pre-event, which takes 2 minutes. Hopefully you will not get an enforcer, an extra enforcer, because one of the enforcers or one of the guys who went green failed gathering the big orb. So hopefully that's not gonna happen. But if it's going to happen, there's gonna be one last enforcer spawning here, roughly, and that enforcer is gonna walk towards this guy, which is the karma sign. So usually the tank, where is the tank? There you go. So usually the tank is standing behind the sort of like this. So the Dhuum, because finally after 2 minutes he's like, okay, they're not dead yet, so I have to kill them myself. But he's gonna start, and he's gonna wake up, he's gonna come from his throne, gather his big scythe, and he's gonna walk towards the tank. So when he is trying to attack the tank, the goal is, why we tank it like here, because there's an enforcer directly below or directly on top of Dhuum. When that is, we can both clean both of them at the same time without like having any issues there. So in case someone fails to do the green mechanic correctly, the enforcer, this enforcer is going to spawn faster than Dhuum is going to spawn. That's another indication, like that's basically the last indication you will get you've basically fucked up somewhere. So you will kill this one, and you have to go to the other side instead. The tank can choose to either stay there or to go there with you, but we're gonna talk about it. It's not specifically that good. So hopefully this will not happen, and you're killing both the enforcer and this guy. So by this is when this is happening again, someone who is not a tank will always get a bomb. It can be the kiter as well. So again, he walks the furthest away, either explodes it, there you go, explodes it, or just let it tick down. When it ticks down, you're prolonging some timings, and it's gonna be really useful later on. And well, and as soon as that is done, you can just walk back. Alright. So that is that kind of thing is fine. So hopefully this enforcer is dead, and you should not have any enforcers anymore. There should be also one last messenger spawning, which the kiter has to deal with. So hopefully he already did deal with it. So now the kiter is joining the group for providing boons, and usually the kiter is a druid, so he usually does that. Oh yeah, the first green is usually warrior, the second green is usually the kiter, the third green is usually the second druid. Or, well, the druid who is not kiting. Alright, so now this is settled, and now we can just DPS the boss. So DPSing the boss is not that harder, right? The thing is, we need to take care of the bombs. Do not explode while in the stack. Everyone will get the damage, and it hurts, so don't do it. So now, when this is done, we will move towards doing the boss percentage-wise. So percentage-wise, every 10%, which is 90, 80, and so on, he's gonna bash his big scythe into the middle, creating like scar-like AoEs, or they're called like scars, rifts, whatever you want to call them. But he always bashes the middle from his current position. So when he does that, he's gonna face the middle. Oh fuck it! He's gonna face the middle, right? And he's gonna bash his big scythe. Let me just use this as his big scythe. So he's gonna bash to the middle with his big scythe, right? So when he does that, the rifts or scars will start going out of the middle. If you stay in one of those scars, it deals extreme damage, and it will get you fear. You really do not want that to happen, so just avoid those scars. You can see them on the ground, they always lights up, so it's easy to deal with. So that is every 10%. Now, and this is very important, the timing-wise. Timing-wise, there is a really big problem, because at 705, I think. I don't know the timings myself. I always go by my my intuition. Where is it? It's not even explained in the Doofus guide, by the way. Nice. Anyhow, he's gonna spawn. He's gonna spawn a circle. No, not the soul rip. Not the soul rip. I want the circle. That's 705. So at the first circle, he's gonna pick a random person in the raid, and he's gonna teleport to that person. So he's gonna go underground, so he's invisible, and now everyone is like starting to panic, right? So let's say one person's staying here, and these three are stabbed because I can't get them unstuck. So he's gonna go underground. He's gonna appear at some random person, and he's gonna create a small AoE. So to demonstrate that, let's say that he landed here, and he's gonna create like a small AoE, which will look something like this. It's an orange AoE, but whatever. This kind of works. So the thing is here, the AoE is always shorter because the circle is being placed in front of him. It's always better to go by his back. So when you're the lucky or unlucky guy who was the target when he reappears, so he spawns it on you. So it's much faster then going left or right or backwards to go through him, for example, if you're facing him, because up further back it's much shorter distance to leave that. So when you leave that circle, nothing is going to happen. If you do not leave the circle in time, when he bashes the ground, he's gonna create a small soul rip for all the players who are standing inside of that AoE. So when that happens, alright, the goal is to immediately get your soul. There's gonna be a blue beam. Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna use this as the beam. So let's say you went to the left side, when you were facing the boss, right? So you went through the left side towards you. You wouldn't make it, so you get soul ripped. When you get soul ripped, you get pushed back of the direction you were watching. So if you were watching this way, it will push you back this way, and it's gonna create like a beam of light, of blue light for you. Also, your health is gonna turn blue instead of red, so that's a big indication that your soul is actually being ripped. You have some seconds, don't know the precise timing, to get your soul back. If you do not get your soul back, you instantly die, because essentially you got ripped out of your body. You're just your soul. So the goal is to quickly get your body back. As soon as you get the body back, you immediately have to leave the AoE, because it's gonna be there forever. Let me just move this stuff so I can prepare it for the next explanation. And players are here. There we go. So when also the rip happens, that rip will also take over all of your boons. So when it takes over all of your boons, essentially all of your boons which you had, right, will be now on Dhuum instead, because he just pulled them from you. So you have to have some kind of a boon removal, preferably, or boon corruption is also available. And that AoE is gonna stay there for some time, so I will just make like a small circle like this. Alright? So hopefully you kind of recovered, everything is going well. So now, when you approach the first timer, so you will still gonna get the bombs, right? And this is gonna be correct in every single situation. Before there's a big soul rip, which I'm gonna explain soonish. Before there's this big soul rip, you always get the bombs still. So you have to look on the timer. If you look on the timer and you see that you got the bomb roughly around the time, which is 6:34, like 3:4, 6:34. You can stay under the boss. If you get it slightly later, let's say 37, 38, you have to leave the boss, either quickly explode it and come back, or just quickly explode it and stay there. So for the sake of the explanation, let's just let's say that you have to go. There's no other way. The way to prevent this is by prolonging the explosion before. So that's why I said that you should try to just not explode using the special action key, but you should try to just prolong it as long as possible. So hopefully that is done. Well, it's not over yet. At roughly around 7:27, sorry, not 7, 6:27, that's gonna be the first soul rip. So when the first soul rip happens, again, he's gonna teleport to the ground. He's always going to appear in the middle, and he's gonna use his Great Reaper's Mark. That's how the attack is called, like correctly, I think. And that attack will act like the time you got pushed by this AoE, which is right here, right now, but it's global, so it's for everyone. So there's no way avoiding this. You will always get pushed back from your body. you will always lose all of your boons, and all of your boons will be now on Dhuum instead. So he's gonna... So the goal is here to watch the middle, because here there is a wall. So what we're doing here, by watching the middle, watching the Dhuum, when we get pushed back with our souls, we don't get pushed back that further, as if we weren't. So let's say I would be watching this wall. So I would be knocked back probably somewhere here, which is a very long distance. The problem is, when you get knocked back, you also get torments. So the more you move, the worst for you it is. So the goal is A, to remove the boon. So the goal is to remove the boon. Remove the torment, so you can survive it. The best practice is watch the middle. Right? You're gonna watch the middle. So you get knocked back only slightly, not much. So you can immediately pick up your soul. So even if you get torment and you get down, nothing happens because people can still res you. So that's not an issue. Good practice here for druids is that you can use a healing spring here to immediately cleanse it. When this also happens, there's going to be a messenger spawning here, roughly. So the Kaido tries to take it. Or, the better, the third green, which was here before, when the soul rip happens, this green is now active. So when this green just happened, essentially means that this one is next and soul rip is going to happen. So when the person here who went up because of the green, he's gonna appear roughly in this direction, so it's gonna be like here, let's say. Okay. So when that happened, boys, flap tank, flap rank, okay. So when that happens, here again you can pick up the souls, but first you have to focus this big one. When you pick up 4 souls, so let's say you... shit, okay. When you pick up 4 souls, you can start observing. There's one soul which is slightly bigger than the other ones. That is the messenger. The first person here can get this messenger, which is going to the middle. If he gets the one, this messenger I just said during the soul rip is not going to happen. So we can skip the one messenger, so the Kaido can focus on preventing the group from dying instead of getting the messenger fast enough. It makes it so much more easier. The thing is, it's a huge risk. It highly depends on the timing and on your luck. Usually it spawns on the other side of the side you were currently on. So you have to watch everything. And when you start approaching it, you cannot touch any other orb, right? Because that would be 5 orbs and you will instantly get teleported back. So the goal is to get 4 orbs, including the enforcer, and then observe where the messenger is. So when you see it, you will start coming for it. By this time, out of the time you had left to pick up 5 orbs, you will have roughly 2, 3, 4 seconds. It's incredibly close. When you pick it up, you will save yourself because it's the 5th soul. You come back and you can safely say to your Kaido, messenger is not happening, or something similar to that. So when that happens, you are a really good green mechanic boy. If you do not get the one, it's alright, the Kaido will get it. It's much better if you try to take the risk and pick it up. Alright, so another part, a thing I haven't mentioned. I've mentioned that we have a warrior on our first green. So, the first green is this one. Then the first green, because of the debuff again, the next green he can take is this one. The next green he can take is this one, precisely at the boss. So it's precisely happening at the same time the first soul rip is happening. If that warrior is a spell breaker, he can prevent Dhuum from getting any boons via the soul rip if he uses his Winds of Disenchantment, the elite bubble, in the middle. So the way it's done, he knows the timing. So when the Doom is about to teleport to the middle, he goes. Sorry. Oh, fucking hell. Okay, let me just take this. Okay, so let's say this is a spellbreaker. So he knows that he's gonna teleport towards the middle. So he's gonna walk. He's gonna drop his Vince of the Disenchantment, and he's gonna walk to the green because the green is happening right now, and he needs to stand there. So when the Soul Rip happens, and Doom will pull every single boon from you and apply you Torment, and pushes you back from your soul, so you have to collect it. He's not gonna get a single boon because Vince of Disenchantment prevents the target who's under the Vince of Disenchantment to get any boons while he is standing in that area, and also periodically it removes the boons also received. So when that happens, that's an easy way to make this fight so much more easier, but it's not required. You can just have Scourges, you can have one Renegade just removing it because he has Malice. You can have a Chrono taking Phantasm Disenchanter over a Well of Action. There are multiple ways to approach this issue. Spellbreaker is by far the easiest one. So when Doom successfully pulls the condition, everyone will get their own body and stuff. He's gonna charge this attack because when he pulls the conditions, sorry, not conditions, I keep saying conditions. He pulls the boons from your bodies. He's gonna charge an attack. Well, it's not a charge. During this attack, it's a charge. When he's charging the attack, he tries the suction happens. It's called suction. So, well, not suction, but yeah, that's how a lot of people are saying what it is, and it's kind of easier to just say it that way. Because you're being sucked into the middle, where the Doom is standing. Around Doom, there's a small AoE. Let me use the green for it. So, that AoE will pulse highest damage, very similar to what the Messenger has. So the Messenger also pulses a high damage around you. So the goal is to watch the other direction and walk the other direction. So let's say that the tank, let's explain it on the tank. The tank got his soul back, and now he just needs to tank. So he's gonna rotate, so he's facing the wall, and he's gonna walk the direction. He's still going to get pulled to the middle slowly, but not as slowly as he would if he would be facing the middle and walking backwards. So just pay that in mind, just always watch the wall. When you do that, it's much easier. Then the tank can also do a very nice thing. So at the start, when the suction is going to end, the AoE will disappear, but first, before it disappears, let's say we do not have this fucking Doomfire in the middle like this. It's still going to be there, but let's say it's not there for now, just so I can explain it better. So the tank can also do a small trick here. So when it's about to like finish, or the Doom is about to finish the cast of the skill, he can go into the area, use distortion so he does not die, and he can immediately like go through him to the other side, roughly here. And then the area disappears, and since he's already here, Doom will just rotate towards him and starts, like, the tanking will start. This will create enough time for, well, the DPS players to catch up and also start doing damage. So you can do damage in the middle, right? Shit, it dropped. So you're slowly damaging it, alright? So that's perfect. So when you're damaging it, hopefully you should be approaching 60%. When 60% happens, I can finally showcase my new prop, which is this thing. It looks horrible, but it's gonna be enough. And hopefully the 60% will appear as soon as this next Doomfire, because again he just picks one target, he goes below ground, he picks one of the DPS targets to teleport to. And when he teleports to them, he's gonna create the circle AoE. We'll just make it horrible looking. I don't care anymore. Something around this, whatever. So around this one player. So this one player will immediately just like, oh yeah, I can just dodge here. So he dodges here. The tank is gonna move roughly in this direction between these two, between heart and square. So everyone should follow him. Fuck. So Dhuum is gonna walk there as well and stuff like that. All right. So hopefully by this time, shit, stop dying, Kyder, please. By this time, hopefully, you'll approach 60%. When you approach 60%, you're gonna get shackled, which is you're gonna get shackles. So random 2 people, which is not a tank. Fucking hell. Ah, there we go, got it. 2 random people, which is not a tank, will get shackles. When they're shackled together, you get a red text in your chat that you're shackled to another player. It also is written on top of you. Your character is also shaking a lot. So now, the goal is to remove the shackle, because when you're shackled together with the other player, you're receiving damage. And the longer you stay, of course, the higher damage you can receive. So the goal is to slightly, well, not slightly, but just to go opposite directions. So that's what this is for. So when you go the opposite directions, fucking hell. Actually, 2 things. Okay, whatever. Ah, yeah, okay, I need this. Okay, this is much better. So when you go away from each other, let's say roughly this kind of direction between like the props and stuff, the shackle is gonna break. So when it breaks, it creates kind of the effect. Usually someone on voice will probably say, oh, broken. So immediately as you hear that or see that it was broken, you can immediately walk back to the boss and start damaging the boss. So by this time, a second section will happen, and that goes on and on. So let me skip kinda throughout the fight. So this is after the 3rd soul rip. So when you're tanking here, after a while he goes into soul rip, which, well, where he also does suction after it. So that happens. Then you walk back, right? And you stay here. You put 1 Doom Fire there, which is the AoE. Let's put it like this because someone was not stacking correctly. So you can then kick that person. Again, people will get the bomb. Yeah, that's just normal. And by this time you're here, or here, you should be approaching 30%. Kick him, baby, right? So when you approach him, sorry, not him, but when you approach 30%, this is a very inconvenient prop, but it's gonna do. He's gonna target 1 player. When he targets 1 player, he creates a cone, like an attack. So that's why this is for. So let's say everyone is stacking this way. So now he's gonna create like a cone attack. It's much larger though. And he's starting to pull you together, or to him. So the goal here is to just leave the cone. It's not that difficult. So you just leave the cone. As soon as you leave the cone, it's alright, nothing happens. If 1 person stays in the cone, all of his boons are being removed and given to Dhuum again. Very similar to Soul Rip, but the player will not die in this case. And every time a player is hit by this attack, he does it again. He selects another player. Let's presume that's someone in here now. And he does the attack again. So the goal is not to get hit by it. And then, hopefully, you should be tanking roughly here by the time you reach 10%. I'm very moderate on DPS, alright? This is very moderate on DPS. Do I have... Where are the play? Oh, this is the player. The players. Alright, so hopefully, when you approach 10%, finally, Alright? The Reapers finished their spell. When they finish their spell, they all die. Alright? When they all die, also Dhuum will become like not shackled, but he's gonna become like he's gonna be floating, alright, above the middle. But when the Reapers finish the casting, all of the souls gathered are pulled towards up. So Dhuum will suddenly like be impaired of movement. Okay, that's way better to say it like that. Specimen. All right. So he's gonna be impaired of movement in the middle. He's not gonna attack anymore. And there's gonna be a quick dome in the middle. I will indicate it like this with the red things. All right. Okay. But before I explain what this is, incapacitate. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Before I explain what this is, everyone at the 10% will go up. And that's not like, oh, you have to go green or something. Everyone will go up. Because essentially everyone's soul is being poured from their body. So I can just remove these because tank is no longer necessary. And we can just have DPS players. So let's presume you have to have at least 7 people up. Oh shit, I fucked up. I should have kept one of each. Oh my god. Okay, whatever. I will just roll with this. Okay. Whatever. And I need 2 more. Okay, they're disaligned. Well, they're not aligned correctly, but I don't care anymore, honestly. Okay. There we go. Works. Alright, so when that is, the markings, you have to like discuss who's going to go which marks. But first, everyone will get up. So the thing which is going to happen, everyone will have to gather their souls now, which is the red thing now. Again, they have 30 seconds now instead of 15 seconds as the green guys. They only have. They now have 30 seconds, double the time, to gather 5 souls. If you gather 5 souls, you're gonna get teleported back here. So let's say almost everyone did it, but this one guy, because he's very fucking stupid. Let's just presume that he does not know about don't go to the middle rule because he's deaf and he does not hear it every time it's being called when the 10% is being reached. So rip that. He went to the middle and he died, because usually one person dies, because he went to the middle. So now the people who like discussed where to go, right? So now this person will go here and there. So since Reapers are dead, they spawn like a button which you can press. So you have to have, well, for the normal groups, you have to have 7 people in order to do the buttons, because there are 7 buttons, so you need to press, and you have like a small coordination time which you can use to make it much more easier for you and more convenient. So because Dhuum is now floating, he's invulnerable, and there's this like the red thing here, which is the dome around this area. When you leave the dome, all this area around will deal you periodical damage. So the goal is here to give quickness, so you can press the button faster. The goal is to give protection, so the ticks from the area around you will not hit you for high amounts of damage as normal. And preferably, of course, having maximum health. That's also kind of really good here. So let's say that you successfully pressed all 7 buttons. When all 7 buttons are pressed, Dhuum will become targetable and he's gonna like reach the ground. When he reaches the ground, you can target him, you can start dealing damage. This is the last 10% burn phase. Hopefully you will need only like 2 burns. You can still do it with 3 burns. When a certain time passes, he again starts levitating. So immediately as he does it, everyone just moves out, press the button again, walk back to the middle again. When everyone presses the button, Doom will again fall down. You can target him, you can start dealing damage to him, and hopefully he's gonna become the new attraction. And he's gonna be hanging around in a special cage, which was designed by Desmina, and hopefully he's gonna stay there forever. And that's it. That's normal Doom, guys. That's normal Doom. Congratulations, easy first try. And the difference between this and Doom CM, Doom has higher health, and there is a special guy called Echo of Doom, which just walks around, or Doom's Echo, just walks around the area. Every time he touches a wall, he bounces a direction where someone is there. So let's say one player is here, but everyone else, let's presume, is here, but this one player is here, so he can bounce here, but he can also bounce here, and so on and so on. So that's essentially it. Oh yeah, he has a small AoE around him. If you touch him or you stand in the AoE for some time, well, you become picked up. When he picks you up, you can't do anything. You get periodic damage. You can't be healed. The only way to get you unpicked, essentially, is by CCing the Echo. And when you CC the Echo, the break bar is not going to appear for some time. So please, very important, if you get broken down from the Echo because you got picked up, try not to get picked up again, please. And hopefully, Doom is the new attraction of Hall of Chains. And you successfully killed it, and if you get the throne of Doom, or the bench, I'm gonna say it plainly, you're one of the luckiest person. And that's it, essentially.
I touched the Lego Peepo happy.
Alright, boys. So I think that is that concludes the Lego part of this stream. I think we can do Wing 5 now.